you have set a very good stage for the rest of the speakers to address the audience with the lens of policy and where the food security needs to be properly, the way it should be looked at. Okay, so due to shortage of time, we may not be able to do some interactive Q&A, but at the end, if we have space, we will do some Q&A. I would now like to invite our second speaker, Dr. Kadambot Siddiqui, who will speak about plant genetic resources management under pandemic constraints and context. He is a senior, he is a chief scientist at National Agriculture Research Centers.
For inviting me, and you know that without the plants, we think that the world would not look so beautiful and fragrant, but they are the primary producer of food that we eat. And if we lose this plant, we will lose our food and no more life on this earth. The food that is produced here, it gives rise to different cultures, food habits, and some part of the world, some food is produced and some on the others. So if Japanese, they eat a different type of rice, and Pakistani will eat a non-sticky rice. If we are producing non-sticky, we cannot export to Japan. So the trade and all many things depend on what we produce and what we consume. So the trade of the quality of the what it is going to be produced depends on the genes which reside in the chromosomes, and that give rise to different diversity that we can see. A single gene can make a great difference. The green revolution that we speak about was only a single base pair change that has been reported, and it brought a revolution. So every single gene is very important, and we need to conserve this for food security. Because these material comes in as germplasm, they are used by the breeders, and then the crop is improved, and that gets resistant varieties, and that goes to the farmers that produce the seed. So there are two aspects. One is with the breeders and the genetic resources they have, and the material that is with the farmers that they are using for production. So germplasm used for crop improvement, it is with the PGR breeders and researchers and in the gene bank, and germplasm for production is with the companies, farmers. So diversity matters. If we have a single species or single variety, and if it's infected with a disease, like in Pakistan, the banana bunch top virus, 90% of the crop was eliminated. But if we had diversity, that now we have 4 different varieties going, if one is infected with some disease or some pest, we can survive on the other 3. So we need to have diversity. Similarly, Pakistan is 5th for the climate change affecting, and not only the fields where the farmer is growing, even the institutes, they are being devastated and losing their total material. So the only living planet can only sustain, and it has been thought, and the United Nations has given these sustainable development goals. And most of the important is zero hunger, our food, the plants on land and in water, all the genetic resource. So most of these are affected if we lose the genetic diversity. So there is one surah in Quran, Surah Quraysh. It reflects on the tradition of Quraysh as a bounty or as a gift that they can travel from one place to another. And the God says that due to this very thing, you should be thankful to the God that you can travel. See, we never thought about that in this context much until we had this COVID-19 we have seen here, and we were restricted in terms of the whole globe. The World Economic Forum finds that all the sustainable development goals since 15 has gone to reverse. So it has highly impacted all the economy. The bottlenecks that was created was the availability of inputs to the farming, notably labor for harvesting and fruits and vegetables, shutdown of the processing plants, and ongoing disruption of freights, flights and ships all stopped. So the perishable things were most affected by that. So it was difficult to overcome these things on a very short period of time, and it was a good risk for. So those countries who were doing export for with a very short time, they were lost completely. For example, in Oran, in Kenya, they were producing flowers, and that was their only economy. So they had lost for 8.5 billion floral trade was down the drain. So other methods were adopted that the transportation to the consumer was affected very greatly. So you can see on the Google search, it was online availability was checked and got the peak in April. So many mushrooming of these companies emerged for online supplying and delivery of fruits and vegetables and grocery items. It was a boom, and from $3.6 trillion to it doubled the impact on this economy. So other things to come up with how to deliver. The role of drones in agriculture is being exploited, not only for data and for managing and for transportation of goods. Similarly, people are thinking that they should produce the food where it is near to the consumer. So vertical farming and urban farming is a concept already developed, but now it is flourishing at a very high speed. The role of robotics in agriculture is being sought not only for harvesting, also for bagging and processing, because of the labor shortage that has happened due to the COVID. So the germplasm that we preserve is very important, and for conservation, we have the strategies for ex situ conservation and in situ. So we have gene bank that we maintain the germplasm and feed gene banks and in vitro. So we need to develop more gene banks at national level, and those countries that do not have the gene banks, they should make policy and make their gene banks so that they can conserve. So we are having a project with Comstat and working with OIC countries for that. Hopefully it will mature. So in Pakistan, we are keeping the material at 25 years, 50 years, and 100 years at different temperatures and storage conditions. For the farmers, we need to have the community seed banks. We are lagging in that. We don't have community seed bank in Pakistan, and the government should take some steps so that they can secure the seed for 2-period cultivation and maintain all the diversity before it is replenished. And we can have the reward of production with that and access to the seed to the farmer. And we should not rely on hybrid seed import totally, because it is a matter of disaster in such conditions like COVID. So the biggest risk of food security is not with food availability, because food was being produced in the countryside, in the farm, but it was the access to. So we have to develop some methods so that the access is made more available. So way forward is that we should find an old delivery system, online shopping, drones and Internet of Things, robotics, vertical and urban farming, gene banks and safety duplication locally. Now there is only one safety duplicate gene bank in Norway, the Salvard Global Seed where all the world is securing their safety duplication. So we should think about that to develop locally our safety duplication and the community seed bank. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Siddiqui. You have saved us some time. We are grateful.